Woo boy! That's certainly built up a bit of gas. Oh, something there. Alright you lot, so we've got this Honda generator, EX500, don't know how old it is, do not use AC and DC at the same time, that's a shame isn't it, eh? Direct connection to power sockets is forbidden, really? How are you meant to do that? You have to rig up some sort of cable with a plug on both ends. I've only got one plug on this generator, and it is only AC 240 volt, but you've got DC 12 volt as well, so you can charge up a battery. I haven't got the cable, but I've got generic cables for other ones that fit. Frequency hertz. You can change it from 50 to 60, depending on what you're running. All level there, blah blah blah. But this has always had exactly the same problem. I did try to fix it once, and I took all the covers off and everything, and kind of gave up on it because I knew that it's got oil in it, and you know it was running fine. So, but the oil light comes on, and it's on all the time. So it's probably a loose wire or dodgy sensor. So I'm going to try and have a look at it and see if we can get it to work properly. You know, to be off, because I know it's got oil in it. I know it's running. There's circuit breakers are fine. So yeah, let's have a look and see what we can find. I really don't know where to sort of go with it, so we'll just take it apart and we'll learn together. So I've got several different types of screws here. I actually, a few years ago, I did a fantastic restoration job on this. I did the best professional paint job you could ever wish for. It come out alright. I don't know why I decided to try and paint it, but I did. And yeah, it's alright. The bloke that I bought this from, I remember now, I think it was about 2014 when I bought this. He used to use it. He had it in a wheelbarrow, and he used to have a pair of hedge cutters attached to it, and he was, this apparently, I mean it weren't, because I know there was petrol hedge cutters, but he reckoned they were expensive, and he said it was cheaper to have a generator and power an electric set of edge cutters than it would be to buy a petrol one. I don't know why that is, because you've got two machines doing the job of one, but there you go. So that's what he did anyway, and so all this done apparently was power hedge cutters, because he was a gardener. So let's have a look, see what we got in here then. Got a nice little engine. I like this little engine. Not sure what that, oh, that must be our overflow. That must be our overflow pipes come off of there. I'll have to put that back on at some point. So we've got the wires for the light come up the front here. So we're going to take them bolts out, take the front panel off, and we can see where exactly they go to. Got all the bolts out. Let's see where we go from here then. I've got a funny feeling it might be, might have to take the tank off perhaps. There seems to be a lot of play in that. Alright, it is coming off slowly. Oh look, we can see in it a model number on the engine. Oh no, that's not the engine, that's the generator part. Got to move it around a little bit so I can see. Well, all them wires go all the way around there. Got our fuel on and off. A bit of a wiring harness. Right, let's make it a bit tidier up, shall we? Well, I traced the, well this is obvious anyway, but I had the cover on here still. I traced the wires round, and this is the oil sensor here, sensor for the oil. So I'm going to take it off, because I don't think it's going to be a problem with the actual light or anything like that around there. I think if there is a problem, it's going to be on with the sensor. So I'm going to take the whole lot out and maybe clean it. There might be some dirt, gummed up oil or dirt or something around the sensor, so it's not sensing a flow or pressure or a level or however it senses. So we'll take it off and have a look. Both our wires. Remember, the blue one goes to the left. Oh, they're both blue. Alright. Let me mark them up then, so I know what one went on where. The one with the black marker on it goes on the left. That's on the left side, the one with the black marker. Got a lot of oil in our sensor. So there's oil getting into it. I changed all the oil on this as well, I remember doing it. So there we go. One sensor. So I suppose I'll just give it a clean up. Looks like we can take the top of it off there. There's two screws holding that on. Might better take it apart, give it a clean out, and well, see if it makes a difference. Hopefully it will do. Well, just got some I've run out of brake cleaner and other random cleaners, so I've just got some electrical switch cleaner. It'll clean most of the dirt off anyway, because it's an alright cleaner. So clean around the switches. I took the top off, all that's under there is a couple of connections, so I'll give that all a clean and see what crops up. I mean, it ain't the end of the world if it doesn't work after all this. It might be a case of the actual sensor itself has had it, but I don't know. I think this generator's probably best part of 35 years old, but it ain't majorly old, not compared to the other one I had that was from 1962. Generators can live a long time if they're treated well. So that's that. You can't take the rest of the sensor apart. It's a sealed unit. You probably can't even buy these anymore, I shouldn't think. So it's going to have to be a case of you might be able to buy them, but I wouldn't want to buy one. Probably expensive, and you don't want to be getting a cheap Chinese knockoff version of it, because that'll be even worse. So let's put this back together. It's got a little rubber gasket on it, and I can't remember. Oh, I didn't clean the switch. Let's clean the switch up. I didn't mean switch, I meant connector, whatever. It's got oil all over the top of it. So, get me a thinner screwdriver. It's one of my favourite screwdrivers, this one. This is the nuts. It's good for tuning carburetors and things like that, because you can get right in there and do the needles with it. Donkey's years old and it's one of my favourites. Right, that's most of the dirt and oil and grease or whatever you want to call it out between them. A little bit left in there. That's that cleaned up anyway. So, get rid of that paper. Now let's put this back together and see what we got from there. Look at that, you lot. Hold on. Whoa! Look at that then, you lot. That's back in there now. Got the serial number for this engine on there as well. Look, 1435322. It's not too bad in here actually. It's all right. Could do with a bit of a clean on some things. That's the petrol on and off. Look, petrol on and off. It's got a reserve as well, but it doesn't actually go to that. So they must use the same switch, the same tap for different models, because you haven't got an option for a reserve. It's just on and off, and you've got the little rod that goes there. Anyway, let's test out this cleaned out sensor. It's not that it was properly cleaned out, but I cleaned it up, cleaned the connections, you know, and we'll see what it reads. I don't think that's going to have made any difference, but got to be optimistic, as I always am. Let's put it back together and find out. Right, let's see if we're going to get the light go off. Hopefully it don't come. Hopefully it stays off, but I think it's going to stay on. Unless the red light means it's got pressure, but usually when you have a red light, an oil light come on, that means it ain't got pressure, it ain't got any oil. Maybe that means it has. I'll have to download a manual for it, I think I'll have to see if I can go and buy a book, a manual book or whatever. I'm sure there'll be a manual out there somewhere. But that obviously weren't the problem then. Unless the sensors had it itself. Maybe the sensors had it. But anyway, the main reason I wanted to get this generator out was to have a look at it, because this year I plan on going camping, and what we do is we take a generator. I usually take a 2-stroke generator, but since I got this little one, this 500 is plenty. I mean, it ain't 500 really, it's probably about 400, 350, 400, but it would do 500 probably on a surge. So that's brilliant. At least I know that's alright. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plug it in now to a heater and give it a long run, or a reasonably long run, and see what it actually does. Hopefully it will blow some of the cobwebs out. Let's have a look. Let's see what it does. Alright, so let's just run it out here for a bit. I'm going to plug in a small load. Well, it's going to be a big load. It's going to be 500 watts. And 500 watts is probably the maximum load that this generator is rated at. Now, what you do for a load test, I mean, I enjoy watching the bigger generators because they smoke like hell when you put them on under load and blow off all the carbon. The big diesel ones, the ones that power supermarkets and things, I used to enjoy that. So you just put it under load for a while, it gets it nice and hot, blows out all the cobwebs, so to speak. So let's see what happens. hear the load when it comes on, and you'll hear it. Well, that's out there, Evan. I'll leave that running for a bit with that load on it. All I've got is one 500 watt strip heater on it. But yeah, I like watching the big generators, what they do. I used to love it when they used to come round. The big generators that power supermarkets and other things. They have like a big trailer, or some might have a lorry, or I've seen lorries built into it, with a big fan and a big heater. And what you do is you just load the generator up to its maximum load that it's rated to, and leave it running, and it just gets it really hot, burns off any carbon. Generators that don't get run, they might be backup generators and things like that that don't get run, they get tested every month or so. They start them up and things to test them to make sure that they will kick in if they need them, but they don't ever go under a big load. Some generators, a lot of the generators that I've known of, especially the big diesel ones, they get used every day and daily, probably 24 hours in some cases, but on a very small load, a very, very minute small load. And so they don't ever get hot enough to burn off all the carbon that builds up on the pistons and the exhaust and things. So they need to go under a heavy load to get hot, to burn all that off, so they don't block up. And that's where you get all the smoke from. I love it when, you know, it's fantastic, you know. So just leaving that one, doing that for a bit. I've got another one I'm going to have a look at later on. I run into another problem as well. My telephone's at it, look, it won't charge for some reason. I've been trying to charge it all day and all night, and it's most of the day now. All it's doing is that. Oh, bloody hell. Oh well, probably going to have to go and get a new phone now, I suppose. Huh. Well, I could try and change the battery in it, but I can't expect, they probably won't sell the batteries for these anymore. Oh well. I'll keep trying to charge it. I'll keep going. And the other handy thing is when I'm doing these tests is, look, I get extra heat. Free extra heat. Got me gas one there, which is keeping me nice and toasty. And I got me free extra heat on, look. Well, it ain't free because I paid for the petrol to put in that generator eventually. I mean, that petrol's been in that generator for about a couple of years now. But you know, extra heat anyway. Look at that. 12.5 degrees in here now. Holy moly. We're literally like living the life of luxury now. It's usually about 8 degrees in here when I'm in here. In the winter anyway. Well, that one passed its test. I suppose it's a test, isn't it? It's alright, no problem with it. It's out there cooling down now, so I've stopped that. But the next one I'm going to have a look at. This is the 2-stroke one. It's the one that I took camping with me before, but I'd rather take the 4-stroke one. I prefer 2-stroke engines in general, but I'd rather take the 4-stroke one because it's a little bit quieter. Not a lot actually, to tell you the truth, because these 2-stroke one actually runs pretty low RPMs. It's quiet, doesn't really rev up that much, apart from when you put a load on it. If you put a heavy load on it, then it gets a bit loud. But anyway, I suppose I'll take the 4-stroke one, take the Honda. Anyway, when we go camping. But this one, as far as I can remember, I think it stopped running at one point, and there's probably a video of it somewhere, because I took it apart. I've lost the bloody screws that hold the air filter thing on, so I'll have to find some more screws that hold the cover on for the air filter. I think, as far as I can remember with it, I got it to run, but it would only run on the choke, even though I took the carb off many times and cleaned it out. There's obviously still a blockage in there somewhere, because with an engine, petrol engine, if it'll only run on the choke, what the choke does is it richens up the mixture in one way or another. Different chokes work differently, either by blocking air or adding fuel, depending on the type of choke, type of carburetor. So with this particular one, what it does is it blocks air. So there's obviously still a blockage somewhere, because it'll only run on the choke, which means it's only running on a rich mixture. As soon as you take the choke off, it becomes too lean and it won't run. So there's obviously still a blockage somewhere. So this is the next one. I'm going to take it apart and I'm eventually getting it running. I don't like having things, there's no point in having something if it doesn't work, is there, really? So that's what I'm doing next. That's going to stay there until later on when I film that video, or tomorrow or whenever. But yeah, stay tuned for that one. And I prefer to get things running than finding electrical faults. Electrical faults I don't really enjoy that much. Trying to get something running, getting an engine running because of a fueling problem or something, it's more enjoyment for me, because then you can see it running afterwards. If something runs but it won't put out electric, like a generator won't put out electric or something, or there's a light on or whatever. I don't really enjoy that as much, but I like to try and get it going anyway. So I'll catch you on the next one, dudes. Thanks for watching, and enjoy your day.